Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, guys, we'll be talking more about the big stock prices and, of course, the XRP price. And I also want to announce to you guys that we're doing the biggest giveaway that I've ever done. Because, yes, we're doing either 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 XRP, which in my opinion is a very huge giveaway, and it's actually very simple to enter. All you have to do is make sure you press the like button, make sure you are subscribed, go press that subscribe button right now, and put a comment down below, like for example what your favorite coin is. If you've done that, just make sure you follow me over on Twitter. That's the last step. You're automatically entered. And the amount of likes we're going to need, I'll put in the description down below, so check that out. Having said that though, guys, it's been a very important period right now. I mean, I think we all understand that there's been a lot of uncertainty lately, and a lot of people are looking at the bigger stock prices to also determine what's going to be happening to XRP. So even though there's a lot of these specific XRP targeted price analysis done, I think it's more useful to look at the macro surrounding it all. And here is Liberated Stock Trader with a monthly analysis on the S&P 500, and we can see the movement. First of all, no crisis Clinton, .com crash George W. Bush. You can really see the movement and how it all came along, plus 30% during the no crisis Clinton. The .com crash moved it all down 40%. Then the no crisis George W. Bush pushed it up another 7% or so in this small range. I don't know how much this stuff is, but you guys get it. Then the financial crisis Obama took it down. Here there's 4 years of gains lost. Here there's 8 years of gains lost with this very big financial crisis with Obama. Then it's been going up for no crisis Obama for a very, very long time. Then of course Trump came along, no crisis Trump, went on for a very, very long while. And then we can either call it the pandemic or whatever you want to call it, which took everything down. And in that point, it's about 4 years that was lost in the process. And now, since we got back up, which happens all the time, there's another thing lingering, which is the Trump or Biden or the actual pandemic crisis that might be coming up, which could then again, if we relate it to the rest of this stuff, wipe away 8 years of gains, which would put the S&P 500 back at about 1,100 or so. And of course, right now we are at about 3,500, so that would take your money and divide it by 3. In my opinion, it would be a very good move if you're in it to win it. However, it's going to be pretty damn difficult to accept that, guys, because that's a lot of money. That's a huge amount of money right there. And also, our economy will come out so strange after something like that were to happen. But really, it's not as odd as you might think, all right? It's not as odd as you might think, because as you can see here, it has happened tons of times before. Now, checking out what he said down below here, presidential election crisis and crisis of confidence. The next big macroeconomic event to happen is the US presidential election. And by the way, if you're wondering, yes, I'm going to relate it to XRP in just a second. But first, macro. And that got me thinking, what happened in the previous elections? The last two major crashes, the .com crash of 2000-2004 and the financial crisis 2007-2009, both occurred during a presidential election. The .com crash was underway for 8 weeks when George W. Bush took over the presidency. The ensuing carnage wiped out 4 years of gains, and this equated to 41.64% drop during the George W.'s first 3 years. The financial crisis was already well underway when Obama took over in November of 2008. The total crash wiped out 52% of the value of the S&P 500. 24% of that loss occurred under Obama's reign. In total, the financial crisis wiped out 8 years of gains. Now, this crash right now, the pandemic crash, started during the last 7 months of Trump's term and is ready to be inherited by Biden or continue to be managed by Trump, depending, of course, on the outcome of the election. Crisis of confidence. Crashes and crises happen when confidence in the market is lost. Confidence is the difference between a functioning market and an economic disaster. Trump and the Federal Reserve have amazingly restored confidence in this market despite the disastrous ongoing economic events. President's crisis and confidence. The next election will be set in the middle of a crisis that has not yet played out its full course. The questions you have to ask yourself when betting on the market coming up to November are: which president, if any, will maintain the confidence in this current bubble market? Which president, if any, can maintain the confidence in this market long enough so that the Fed can gently deflate the bubble over time? The question is not what you think the answer is. The question is, what do you think the market participants believe? And of course, that's something that's almost impossible to measure accurately. It's so difficult as people's thoughts are often irrational. You would say they're predictable since we all think a little bit alike. But how people perceive things is still quite difficult to measure in aggregate. It's pretty damn strange, and it always goes kind of contra, as a lot of our economic models don't plan for what people really think or are going to do, if you guys get me. Like, what they think and do is really not measured that often by economic models, as it's subjective. It's not something you can really measure what people think. Confidence tricks. If the next president and the Fed cannot perpetuate these confined or confidence tricks, we might expect 4 or 8 years of market gains to be wiped out. So it's not like it's absolute where it's going to be 8 years wiped out for certain. It's a chance though. Since again, looking at this, I don't even think it's that odd if it were to happen. Again, I would not prefer, but it's not that odd. In summary, this is not political commentary or a prediction. It is observations based on the market's action during elections and crises. Outlook: while this rally has been great and profitable for many, the coincidence of all-time high markets, economic carnage, and the current market euphoria suggests to me a bubble waiting to burst. Outlook at this time: neutral, in November, short. At this point, I'm actually quite bullish up till November because, as he said before, and as we saw in his little debate, this is, by the way, not political and not financial advice. It's just an outlook. I'm analyzing something with you guys here just for fun. But if you guys look at it, it would not be that crazy that in a time of most uncertainty, which could be an election switch or the president switching around, that people become so uncertain that they sell, right? And especially when the climate is already very uncertain, that they want to get rid of that. And actually, that is most likely going to be transferred over into crypto as well. I've been checking out a couple of different price analyses on some various crypto, but the most prominent one to look at here is, I would say, either Bitcoin or XRP. And the main reason for that is Bitcoin has, of course, the deciding factor since it's 60% of the market, but XRP is the coin we really want to know about, right? So that's why I went to check over with XRP. And the majority of the guys writing these articles have either established that it's a downward cycle that's going on right now. As you can see right here, pretty interesting downtrend has been going on for the last couple of weeks here, which could indicate again that we either are going to be moving up from it here or really far down. However, most of the guys I've been talking to and most of the analysis I've been seeing actually recommend shorting from here and making that money on the way down. Now, of course, everybody has their own opinion about this all, and I would not say that the one beats the other. It's just the fact, at this point, I would say, that it's a little bit of a scary turf, right? We're on some scary land here, as it's macroeconomics that are at play. It's not just XRP itself here, because these moves, it ain't gonna happen, right? It's not gonna make a very big move to 20 cents in the split of an eye. That would only happen if some bigger move were to happen in the S&P 500 or some new space mining, which takes away from gold, making people move into Bitcoin and maybe things like that. Those could really move these coins by tens of cents. Otherwise, it's most likely going to be going on gradually. I personally don't believe we'll see a minus 50% really soon here. But again, with Bitcoin, just a couple of months ago, we saw minus 40% in one day, right? Or what was the max that Bitcoin got to? Some crazy ass numbers. So from that perspective, I can't really give you guys any guarantees at all. Now, I know this might sound a little bit scary to you, right? You might be holding your like, damn, Dusty, what do I do? Should I be selling my coins? I'm going to tell you guys right here that I don't know whether or not you should be selling. I personally am not going to be selling unless November rolls out here. Then I will definitely make another update and roll the dice once more and check if I'm going to change my opinion. As of this point, I'm holding on as the outlook is neutral. We don't really know what's going to be happening in the short term here. And thus, it could be that right now the markets will only perform better which will translate into the crypto market doing better possibly as well, which will of course get our holdings up. And also, if I'm going to be selling, it is always with the intention to buy back lower. All right, it is not my intention to get out of this position totally, like I'll be explaining a little bit later on in my videos, as again, I think if you really are of the opinion that you might have to sell it all for good, it might not be the coin for you to really be with if you're 100% into one coin, or you're not diversified enough, or you have put in too much money, right? If you're scared of the price anyway, you most likely put in too much money, because I never worry about the price because I know it's going to be good in the end. I'm just looking for some small gains and better entries here and there. Now guys, as I said before, don't forget to follow me over on Twitter. I want to hit 5,000 followers on here because I've been on Twitter for so long, a couple of years, and I just need to get a little bit more active. But for that, I also want to get some more feedback from you guys. Like, I try my best to do these polls and just questions for you guys, but if you also answer and talk back, it's a lot more fun, right? And also thinking about launching a Telegram account to share with you guys my most important news, because I think a lot of people over on Twitter here are not getting whenever I share stuff. So I'm like, maybe I should be doing that. Let me know in the comment section down below if you would appreciate that. Another article here: the end of an era, why Bitcoin and MMT won the week. Fed Chair Jerome Powell tried to make it seem like the end of an era, but didn't inspire confidence in the central bank's ability to lead in the era that comes next. On the Breakdown's weekly recap, that's this thing right here, they look at the shifting sands of the global economy. He said Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's speech at Jackson Hole this week was an argument that an era that began in the 1970s is now closing. And actually, I would like to relate that to Ripple and XRP as well, by saying that this whole payment realm and the way we do payments right now is also kind of an era that's closing right now. The whole Swift historical messaging system is really getting close to an end right now, and I would hope that Ripple is going to be a good part of that. Now again, I have some more insights into the whole Ripple ODL situation with some crazy news that came out today, but I'm going to be sharing it in my next video that's coming out in a couple of hours, because I want to do some preparations, read myself into it really well, know what I'm talking about, and then give it to you guys on a silver, nice little plate. But again, make sure you are subscribed so you always get the notification every time I upload another interesting crypto news video. And also let me know how you like this slower talking. I try my best to adapt to what you guys request. Sometimes a couple of you guys say, "Hey, you slow guy, talk faster." Some of you are like, "Man, I can't understand this kid. So better talk slower or I leave." And I try to do my best. So let me know what you think about it, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today. Thank you all for watching.